All right. So, the thing about the Pirates is you don't question if they're good or not. You don't question if they're talented or not. I should correct myself with, because let me tell you guys, if this series proved anything, it's two things. They are talented. They are built to come back. They can hit the ball, and they're capable of coming up clutch in big moments, like in the 10th inning today. They scored 4 runs. Granted, two of them were because of a pass ball and because of a hit by pitch, but still, Ke'Bryan Hayes with the 2-run single to plate two to put it at 6-2. But that's not the question with the Pirates. Are they talented? There's no doubt they're talented. The question is if they're consistent, and they're just not consistent. I mean, don't get me wrong. Today's win was huge. You avoid a sweep against the defending National League champion Diamondbacks, who have one of the best offenses in the game, and you're able to come out of Phoenix at least with a win. Not before the umps gave them 2 runs on a 2-run homer that should have been fan interference. I'm still pissed off about that. Fan reached over the ball. That's fan interference. And then Colin Holderman gives up another home run in the 10th inning. So the Pirates rallied from a 2-0 deficit today to win 6-5 in 10 innings today to avoid a sweep. But that's just what I'm talking about. They're not consistent enough. What's going on, everybody? I'm Mac, back with another video. As always, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe. Follow on Instagram. Link is down in the box below. Look, I'm not going to kill the Pirates for losing their first series in 3 weeks, because that's what happened this weekend in Arizona. The Pirates lost their first series in 3 weeks. They dropped 2 out of 3 to Arizona. But what I'm disappointed at is just the lack of consistency, because now we know what this team really is. They're not a good team. They're not even a bad team, in my opinion. They're just inconsistent. You never know what team is going to come in every single night or every single series. Now, granted, the offense hit very well in this series, I thought, but the pitching was supposed to be the biggest attribute for this team, or the biggest surprise for this team throughout the majority of the season. And this series, it let up a lot. Now, like I said, I do know Arizona has one of the best offenses in the league. But this pitching, man, this pitching needs to form a consistent basis. Okay? You're 53 and 52. The fact that you're over 500 this deep into the season is remarkable. No one's taken anything away from that. But here's the thing now. Now you got the trade deadline coming up. And if I were the Pirates, I would make a move. They're probably not going to make a move because Ben Cherington still is just in this mindset of not being competitive this year, because he doesn't think it's the season, even though you tanked for this season to be the season and you added pieces in the off season. So that just makes no sense whatsoever. But I'm telling you, you're over 500 right now. And while you don't have to make a blockbuster move at the deadline, I would say you have to make something. Because, like I said, this team lacks consistency. Me personally, I got 2 trade candidates that I would give up at the deadline. You can disagree with me on this all you want. I really don't care. But this is my opinion. I would trade I would honestly be in the market to trade Rowdy Tellez at the trade deadline. Yes, I know he's had a phenomenal month or so since June, and he's been ripping it up in July. But here's the whole point of the trade deadline. At the trade deadline, you're supposed to either build up your team or you're supposed to get something in return. And I think that's what the Pirates need to do. They need to have one foot in the door of being competitive, and they have to have another foot of, okay, well, this guy really is not going to be I mean, this guy's replaceable and he's not a long-term solution for us. We can afford to lose him. And I think that's what they need to do with Rowdy Tellez. Trade him at the deadline, and I would get more bullpen help, or I would get another bat. I mean, there's another team that could probably use a guy like Rowdy Tellez, and the fact that he's been ripping it up over the past month, a team that's really in prime position to make a deep playoff run, teams like Atlanta or teams like San Diego, teams like Houston, who we play next, by the way. So, I mean, maybe those teams could use him, but he's my number one candidate to trade the deadline. And then my second guy is honestly Martin Perez. Now, look, I wanted to give Martin Perez the benefit of the doubt so badly because he's been injured and because, Derek Shelton kind of ruined his confidence. But at the same time, Martin Perez can only help himself at the same time. And he just hasn't been that guy that he started off with at the beginning of the season. I don't think he's even here on a long-term contract either. So I would probably trade Martin Perez at the deadline too. See if you can get a bat right there. If you can't, put Connor Joe at first base because he can play first base real well too. So yeah, Martin Perez for a bat, I'd be for it. And then give Luis Ortiz that position in the rotation as well. Luis Ortiz has pitched very well over the course of the last month as well. There's a lot of players on this team that have had great months and they're on stretches right now and they're playing well. But you see, that's what I'm getting at. You need to develop consistency. And this series against Arizona just pretty much proved that. They're not consistent. They go from hitting the cover off the ball one game. Actually, they hit the ball well in all three games, in my opinion. But the pitching, not good. I was not impressed with the pitching, especially today when you got Mitch Keller on the mound. Well, I mean, it wasn't all Mitch Keller's fault. He gave up the 2 runs, which isn't horrible. And he was thankfully able to walk away with a no decision because he couldn't win today's game. But like I said, you just got to be consistent. That's all there is to it. You got to be consistent, which is why at the deadline, I want to see bats being added to this team. That's what it showed me point blank for this series. Anyway, let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'm Mac, checking on out for the day. Have a good one, everybody.